So you want to make millions in the crypto market, but up until this point, you felt like you've missed the boat. But guess what? You've been given a second chance. The crypto market is currently in a sea of red, and this, in my opinion, is a buying opportunity of a lifetime and preceding what could be another March 2020-like event that would give you opportunities to present those next 10 to 100x gains as we lead into the new year. Hey guys, Sheldon Evans here, welcome back. Or if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on all of those bell notifications, and give this video a like if you find any of the content useful. So on my display right now, I have the cryptocurrencies by market cap listed, and you can see that most of them are down right now still. We did have that major dump just a few days ago, but since then we have formed a local bottom at around $42,000 on Bitcoin. And the reason that I always chart Bitcoin is, of course, since it is the market leader, it determines what the rest of the market does. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, as long as we don't break below this downward facing trend line here and close below it, in my opinion, we're still okay and we will hold it as support. And you can see I've got this blue line turned on here as well, which is the 200-day moving average. And as I've mentioned in many videos in the past, this is known as what we call the bull market support band, or what we can use as an example of when the bull market is about to resume. Now, currently we are holding this as support, which in my opinion means that as long as we hold this, we don't close below it, we are due for an additional move up in the near future. A few other indicators we can look at is, of course, the RSI. We have been in a downtrend in the RSI and a downtrend in price. We did have this bearish divergence here at the top, which marked the exact top at $69,000. I had this drawn shorter at the time. As you would see if you went back to previous videos, that would have been a very clear bearish divergence and sell point, which we did take some profits at that point, but we have been declining since then. At the moment, we're nearing the oversold territory, and when we have neared this in the past, this generally precedes a pump. If we head over to the weekly time frame, we can see a very similar play happening in the stochastic RSI. So every time that we've hit the oversold territory in stochastic on the weekly, we have preceded a major pump into new highs. So if we go back here, you can see this was a major pump from the very, very low into a high. Go back here, this was a start of that major rally from 10K all the way up to about $65,000. And back here, we had a major reversal after the March 2020 dump. So currently we're in oversold territory. We haven't yet reversed, but it does indicate that we are possibly due for a pump, whether that's near the end of the year or in Q1 2022, which in my opinion, I think is where we will start seeing new movement in the market, new money coming in, or slightly before that, because there's an expectation of money coming into the market at that point, and most people or retail investors will try and front run that, and institutional investors will even try and front run them, meaning we could see a pump in the very near term future. And this goes for many, many coins as well, whether that's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum. If we head over to Ethereum, we can see something very, very similar happening as well. We did have this double top here for the RSI, which was a bearish divergence. Of course, we have been going down, losing strength on the RSI. But we still have not broken that major uptrend that I've mentioned in previous videos. If we head over to the daily time frame that we've been holding since the yearly open. So when we broke out around $1,000 at the beginning of the year, the 1st of January, we have maintained this uptrend since then. We are now right just below it. If we can close above the $3,600 level and break back into it, in my opinion, that would be quite bullish. But from what I can see or what I expect, I think we have some more consolidation heading into the end of the year before, again, a major rally, perhaps into the beginning of 2022. Now, in the rest of the video, I'm going to get over some news and see what is presenting in the news that might hinder or perhaps predict where the market is going in the next few days. So the first thing that I just want to highlight is a comment that a colleague of mine and a partner in Your Mom's House NFT collection left on a video a month ago. I'm really looking forward to this. Artifact could become the next Nike. Now, the reason that I have this comment highlighted is Pedram has been an integral part of my team for the past 4 or 5 years. And he has made some incredible predictions, and together we have worked on incredible projects together. And I'm proud to say that he is part of the Your Mom's House team as we launch this major NFT project. And the reason that I want to highlight this is this foresight and this sort of vision is why I surround myself with team members and people like this, because it really does give you an advantage, a toolkit in the market that allows you to improve and be better than the others around you, and really play the market better than most others can. And the reason that I say this is this comment was 1 month ago, and yesterday we got an announcement that Artifact is in fact being acquired or was acquired by Nike. So it's almost as if he preempted this, he believed this, he knew what was coming, he understands the market very well. And that is why we have team members like this who can pass this knowledge onto the community and pass this knowledge onto your mom's house NFT holders. This is the kind of information that I think is very, very valuable out there and can be life-changing information if you use it correctly. The reason that I say this is that I posted a tweet yesterday, which you can go look on Twitter, follow me at Sheldon Evans, that this news event that Nike is acquiring Artifact could be one of the biggest news events in history when it comes to NFTs and crypto in general. The reason being is it shows that these major corporations are taking a step into the digital realm of blockchain and metaverse and NFTs, more so than people simply buying Bitcoin or buying Ethereum. Because while that is a major move, when we see Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin, we see perhaps Google or Apple or Facebook buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and investing in cryptocurrency, it's an entirely different ballgame when they actually start integrating and working in the system and in this industry, right? And by Artifact being acquired by Nike, it just shows that they are dipping their toes, more so than their toes. They're dipping their entire sneaker, their trousers and their shirt into the metaverse, and they're taking this industry by storm. The reach that Nike and the reach that Apple and Google have when actually integrating these new age technologies, these Web3 technology, is what will drive mass adoption more so than people simply trying to maximize their financial gain by speculating on the market by buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. And these collaborations and these entries into the metaverse is what brings millions, if not billions of eyes. As I've said before, the collaboration that Nike had with Nike Land and Roblox, where Roblox has 40 plus million daily users, daily players, is what brings all those eyes to this new realm, this new world that we are entering. A collaboration like this is incredibly, incredibly important. And we saw this basically manifest itself in the price rising straight after this announcement. So within about an hour of this announcement, we saw the floor on Clonex Murakami NFTs rise up to 6 ETH. And obviously we just had the reveal a few days ago. We do have quite a few of these as well, which I believe could potentially be a blue chip project now as well, that Nike is in the space and owns Clonex or, well, Artifact. So this in general is a very, very bullish step in my opinion, and I think it marks a very important point in history and why I believe that this bull market and this bull run does have a lot of room to run into the future, into next year, and possibly even beyond, because these niches, as I've said in previous videos, and these factions will grow and move regardless of what the traditional crypto market does and what traditional markets do. Whether the market is going up or going down does not matter. These individual factions rely on human emotions and humans being drawn to this. Humans buying into this, playing these games, interacting with these NFTs and so on. It's completely independent from the crypto market on its own. And that's why I believe crypto gaming and NFTs are so incredibly vital. And I'm trying to draw this down everyone's throat at this point as to how important this industry is if you do want to make insane gains and be ahead of the herd and capitalize as much as you can. And I want to announce something as well. We have also just acquired a doodle. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, YMH or Your Mom's House NFT is acquiring what we believe to be blue chip NFT projects, or at least sustainable NFT projects that have value for the long term. And we're adding them to the treasury of Your Mom's House to possibly benefit future holders by perhaps fractionalizing them and distributing them to holders, or even just simply giving them away to YMH NFT holders. So if you do want to stand a chance to win one of these NFTs, we've currently got, I think, close to $150,000 giving away now to future YMH NFT holders. So if you aren't yet, I recommend you go follow YMH NFT on Twitter as well. And if you haven't yet joined the Discord, we're in there, we're chatting, we get in the voice chat sometimes, you can ask us questions. And overall, it's a pretty good community, pretty healthy, pretty fun. I really like it so far, and I'm really proud of everyone in there because we've actually built such a wonderful community. So if you would like to be a part of that, I would welcome you there into the Discord, and let's have a great time. Now, adding on to that news, let's take a look at what's happening with Adidas. As I mentioned in previous videos, Adidas joined the NFT world by partnering with Bored Ape, which at this point is probably the most highly valued and what would be considered mainstream NFT project. Of course, versus CryptoPunks, which has been the traditional long-term blue chip NFT project, the number one. But I do believe that there's a possibility that Bored Apes overtake CryptoPunks purely based on the hype and the utility that they continually add to their NFTs. And one such utility, of course, is the play-to-earn game that is coming to Bored Apes in the very near future. Now, Bored Ape has partnered with Animoca Brands, the company that launched Decentraland, and we do have possibly a game launching in Q2 2022. Now, this could be a major piece of alpha, major piece of information here. If you look at what happened with Axie Infinity when people actually started playing it, one of the major play-to-earn games, we saw the Axie Infinity token go from $3 all the way to $160. So a major return there. So if there is a play-to-earn game, the token that's going to come with this is going to be highly valuable, and I would recommend looking into it because there's possible major potential here. The reason being is that Axie Infinity built its brand and built its game from the ground up, right? It didn't have much prior adoption or much prior news and people knowing about it, in fact, whereas Bored Ape has already built that community, it has already built that foundation. So when this launches, they've already got those users, they've already got the people, they've already got the lifestyle brand behind the game. People know exactly what Bored Apes are. They own them, they're expensive, people want in, and if you don't own a Bored Ape or you want to find a way to get into this might be your step to get into the Bored Ape game. So I think this is a very important piece of information as well. And the reason, again, I'm focusing on all of this NFT news is because it is very important. And I believe regardless of what the rest of the market does, NFTs are going to boom. But moving away from NFTs, let's take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin and on-chain data. So if you don't yet, Will Clemente is an incredible on-chain analyst. He's been doing incredible analysis over the past year. He's grown tremendously on Twitter because of his fantastic analysis, and I do recommend taking a look at his content if you haven't yet. So from an on-chain perspective, there's a key difference between now and the crash back that we had in May. Previously, strong hands became weak hands. Now strong hands are buying from the weak hands. What does this mean? Well, essentially it means that long-term holders of Bitcoin back in May were selling off that Bitcoin for profit, right? We had hit a new all-time high. They were exiting the market, possibly looking to buy back lower or simply just taking their profits and running. This time is entirely different, meaning that the people who are selling are short-term holders. The ones who have recently purchased Bitcoin are getting shaken out. It's a simple textbook shakeout of retail investors and newer, inexperienced investors being shaken out by the long-term stronger hands. They create the FUD in the market. They move their coins around to scare retail investors out. They sell, they buy from them. The stronger hands get stronger and the weaker hands left with their bums burnt. So I'm not afraid of this. I do think that if we do end up heading slightly lower than this, I think we do have a long run ahead of us moving into the following year, into 2022. As I've said many times before, lengthening cycles is very, very likely. And at this point, we have a lengthened cycle, so you cannot dispute that theory. So a very bullish Q1 2022, in my opinion, and 2022 throughout the year. I think we're going to have a major bull run, some major opportunities presenting themselves right now. And as I've said, if you do think that you've missed this bull run and you think you've missed these opportunities, everybody's made insane games, everyone's retiring off of JPEGs and NFTs and off of their crypto gains, you have been presented a second opportunity now. So with this dip, the opportunities are rising. There will be more. I have continued to dollar cost average throughout this bull market. I haven't just been taking profits, as I've said many, many times. I take those profits, move them into my long-term HODL portfolio, buy Ethereum, buy a little bit of Bitcoin, mainly Ethereum, simply been adding to that stack all this time, taking profits on my altcoins. And so far, that strategy has proven to be the best and most profitable strategy that I could have done up until this point, with absolutely minimal effort. I know people are trying to time the market perfectly, trying to buy this coin here, buy that coin there, time it, swing trade, and so on. I have done some swing trades that even myself I'm impressed with when I traded Ethereum for ADA, ADA for Luna, Luna for ADA, and back and so on. Perfect tops and bottoms. That, like I've said before, I've explained the tools that I use for these swing trades, and they have been very, very profitable. But again, that's only a 30% portion of my portfolio, and the coins in that are even fewer. The major 70% of my portfolio is essentially Ethereum, and I simply swing trade those profits back into Ethereum and I let it run. Ethereum is my rainy day fund, it's my retirement fund, and so far, if you have been holding anything, if you go back to previous videos, you'll see that pretty much everything has underperformed Ethereum in the long run, at least throughout this bull market. There have been some peaks and periods when other coins have outperformed Ethereum or not, but over the long run, over the longer period, Ethereum has outperformed pretty much everything. But with that being said, we can take a look at some coins that I do believe will have some potential in the near-term future. And the reason being is that either they have recovered from the dip quite dramatically, or they haven't quite had their pump or had their day in shining armor. Is that even a phrase? No. They haven't had their time to shine just yet. And those are, of course, Cardano, a coin that I've mentioned a few times on this channel that I've sold, and I think has had its pump, although it has been in consolidation for an extended period of time now. So if you are looking for this, once they do actually have a thriving DeFi ecosystem is when I would start looking at Cardano again, when we start seeing DEXs, and we start seeing NFTs really start pumping again. We start seeing a full DeFi ecosystem start being built out like we have on Luna, you'll start seeing Cardano thriving again. And I think that's just the nature of the market. We are getting productive assets. We need actual capital flow in these markets, in these coins, in order for the value to then pump in the future. Gone are the days for the major coins like this, a $40 billion market cap, to purely rely on hype for its growth, and to judge that sentiment can be quite difficult with the past hype that has happened for coins like this. So I would say if you are looking to get into Cardano or something like that, wait for these major events, wait for the DeFi ecosystems to start thriving before you start dollar cost averaging in or buying back in. Another coin that I really do like is, of course, Polkadot, one that I've been very bullish on this channel since the very, very start, around $4, $5 back in the day. And we did reach a very, very high target, close to my target of $100, which I do believe is still possible in this bull run. So we could see a 4x from here to the top of Polkadot. So if you are looking for those gains, Polkadot might be an opportunity like that. It is one of the major chains, of course, co-founded by Dr. Gavin Wood, the co-founder of Ethereum. Moved over to Polkadot, fantastic project. I think we do have strong gains in Polkadot ahead. Dogecoin is one that I want to touch on here, because even though I've sort of clowned on Dogecoin in the past, and it is a meme coin and so on, we did see a major pump in the past few 24 hours or so, and that is because, of course, Elon Musk confirms Tesla will accept Doge for merchandise. Now, I've spoken about this many times as to why I personally am not an investor in Doge up until this point, is that it has purely relied on hype. There's no fundamental reasoning for the value or growth behind Dogecoin. That's why when it was near $1 or on its way to $1, as many people expected, and they were turning out to be millionaires, I said this is probably a great opportunity to sell off your Dogecoin. And it in fact was. It was the exact top for Dogecoin. The reason being is because there's no fundamental basis for its value. But if we do have a leader like Elon Musk, who, again, I'm not kissing the butt of Elon Musk. I don't think he's the be-all, the end-all, the god of all of us. I do think, however, that he does have a lot of influence and a lot of power. So it would be logical and advantageous to see what he does and see how he guides this market. And that would potentially help us make gains, not necessarily following in the footsteps of him and saying, again, like kissing his butt, but following that influence, and as I've said in previous videos, judging sentiment. If you can find where the sentiment of the market is shifting and where it's moving, that's how you can make some good money. He seems to have taken Dogecoin under his wing at this point and is determined to make it his successful cryptocurrency, whether he believes it or not. If he's just memeing, it doesn't matter. We have seen him time and time again say that Dogecoin is a very big holding of his. He's determined to make it a fantastic payment protocol. He thinks it's better for payments than Bitcoin. This sort of constant touch points and touching base with this topic and leading Dogecoin could be a potential catalyst for massive growth in Dogecoin. So if you are a bit of a gambler, if you do like the meme life, if you do know how to judge sentiment, I would say look at Dogecoin for that. Of course, you know my views on Terra. I've spoken about it many, many times on this channel. Crypto.com coin, I do believe Crypto or Crow is going to be probably one of the biggest exchanges in the world. They hit the nail on the head with the Crypto.com domain name that they purchased many years ago. And since then, it's been growing massively, up 10x since we first mentioned it on this channel. I said that it had major potential. That was back when they launched their Crow mainnet. Fantastic blockchain built, of course, on the Cosmos SDK. Many blockchains are, in fact, built on Cosmos SDK. We have Binance Smart Chain built on that. We have Terra built on that. We have Crypto.com built on that. Many of these independent blockchains, of course, are built on Cosmos. And that's why I've said many times that Cosmos, I do believe, is one of the most fundamentally strong projects. Whether that translates into actual financial gain is a different story, because the Atom token doesn't, at this point, in fact, have much use case in the ecosystem. And we are seeing these other coins like the Terra USD token and stablecoins on Terra being de facto stablecoins for all of these other blockchains. So there doesn't really have a use for something like Atom, although the Cosmos SDK and the Cosmos ecosystem is incredibly important in a blockchain agnostic and blockchain interconnected world. So I would say that if you are looking to get into blockchain, to get into crypto and understand it better and actually get involved in crypto, take a look at Cosmos, take a look at Atom, and you'll understand how important and vital it is to the overall growth of the cryptocurrency market, where we don't have a leading chain, because it doesn't matter, because everything is interoperable, interconnected, and it doesn't matter whether you're on Polygon, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano. It doesn't matter because they're all connected through the Cosmos IBC connection, and you can pretty much work on whichever blockchain you like. It's the internet of blockchains in the future. Possibly will be thousands, hundreds of thousands of blockchains connected to one another, like we do have cities, provinces, countries, capitals, continents connected to one another in the world. So that's pretty much what Cosmos is doing with blockchain. So I would say look at that. Polygon, of course, is a fantastic project. I do believe $5 is possible in the near future, because as adoption happens, whether it's for Ethereum or for any sort of major cryptocurrency, and fees are incredibly high, and as Ethereum slowly increases in value, so will the fees. We are going to need Polygon. So as I've said, I use Polygon as almost an oscillator to Ethereum. So when Ethereum is rising and we see the adoption of Ethereum happening, an increase in transaction count and an increase in the number of transactions, microtransactions are happening in games that are built on Ethereum, I would say take a look at Polygon, because they will be vital to the microtransactions and the hundreds of thousands of microtransactions that we will have for these play-to-earn games and many of these games in the future. So take a look at Polygon, still fantastic project. Litecoin, again, as I've said before, an oscillator for Bitcoin, if you so feel. Chainlink, a coin which has underperformed throughout this market. And I've mentioned this a few times. I do think Chainlink has been an underperformer. The reason being, it's sort of become this dino coin at this point. There's no real need for the value of Chainlink to increase. Perhaps it's the sort of de facto entry into Arbitrum, or your exposure to Arbitrum, since Arbitrum doesn't have a token. So when Arbitrum launched, many people were buying Chainlink to sort of expose themselves to Arbitrum growth. Didn't really work too much. So I would say Chainlink, if you are looking for better bets, I would simply stick with Ethereum. We've got Uniswap. I believe decentralized exchanges are still going to be huge in the future, possibly, well, definitely way bigger than they are right now. So I would say Uniswap is a no-brainer to hold if you do want some exposure to the decentralized market. And of course, pretty much all of the layer one blockchains. So whether that's Elrond, whether it's Algorand, whether it's Terra, whether it's Cardano, Avalanche, all of these, Polkadot, I would say having some exposure to L1s, perhaps even having an L1 section in your portfolio where you have a sort of index of layer one protocols, because when one pumps, the others don't necessarily pump in unison, but there are minor pumps throughout the market. So if you are looking for pumps on layer one protocols, which in my opinion, I think is the strongest bet if you want sort of passive gains without monitoring the market too much and trying to track trends, whether it's gaming, whether it's NFTs, whether it's layer one and so on. I think layer one is the trend that is here to stay, and you're likely to make gains in it as the market grows, because layer ones are the basis to the growth of the market in any world. So if you are looking to exposure to the market, I would say that. Then we have Sandbox and Decentraland, two of the major metaverses that I believe are possibly going to be the blue chips of metaverses, whether they get acquired by, let's say, Meta or at this Facebook, or whether they integrate with them or compete with them. I think these are having what we call the big brother effect, or the first mover advantage. They were here first, they're here to stay. They are actually, in fact, very good. There is a lot of improvement to be made, but they are the first movers. So they do have that advantage. They do have large market caps. There are people using them. So I would say if you want exposure to the metaverse, these are probably your blue chips, besides maybe getting into other, as I've mentioned in previous videos, gaming ecosystems or gaming studios rather than individual games, because predicting which game is going to be big or adopted is quite difficult. The only thing you can really look at is perhaps the number of users and people playing those games. But if you want a sort of a solid bet, look at studios like, for example, like Gala, that are building multiple games, and invest in the underlying gaming studio, because they do have this advantage of, if one game fails, it doesn't matter, they will build another one, and they will build another one, and over time they will grow. So with that being said, I think there are tons of coins that you can invest in right now that have major potential. As I mentioned months ago, if you threw a dart at the board and picked pretty much any cryptocurrency, you're likely to make some gains. Those days are slightly blurry right now. We don't really have those major opportunities where you can pretty much throw your money at anything on the board and make gains. But I would say that if you pick the blue chips, pick the project that have been performing throughout the bull market, that have had significant gains and have recovered during these dips significantly, look at where the sentiment is. What are the funds buying? What are the major influencers buying? What does the sentiment look like? Is Michael Saylor still buying Bitcoin? Is Nancy Pelosi going to buy Ethereum? Take a look at what's happening in the macro market, follow those trends, and you're guaranteed to make some money in the long run. No financial advice here. To end off the video, let's take a look at what is happening also from TechDev, an account which I've recommended in the past as well. According to him, we are hitting the log 618 again fib level, and this has preceded major pumps in the past. But as I've said before, looking at what the previous market has done and what the market has done in the past to predict what is going to happen to the future is an indicator, a tool that we can use, but it's not necessarily a deterministic factor as to what's going to happen in the long run. It's fun to look at, it's fun to see what could potentially happen in the near-term future, but when these models break, they break entirely, and the past sort of gets obliterated. And it doesn't matter what happened in the past, it doesn't necessarily have to repeat itself in the future. And I think most people will have some PTSD from previous cycles, trying to time the market tops, trying to not get wrecked because they absolutely got destroyed in 2017 and before that. So I would say looking at previous market cycles, have it in your head, hold these thoughts in your head, always be aware that the top could be at any moment. Keep an eye on the indicators that I've mentioned in previous videos of trying to predict the top using RSIs, using weekly RSIs, using bull market support bands, using moving averages. These are all the tools that you can use that can work to your advantage, along with other things like the crypto fear and greed index. When it's fearful, that's likely near or at the very bottom. Judge it compared to previous fear and greed index periods. Like I've said, we do generally maintain a longer period of time when we're at extreme fear. So as long as we have some consolidation at the extreme fear end of the scale, maybe we get down all the way to 10, we could have an additional dump before we have a pump into new all-time highs. But these are the tools that I work with, the tools that I look to make major gains in the market and predict quite accurately the swings of the market, and so far so good is what I was going to say. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you liked the content. If you did like it, please give the video a thumbs up. Comment down in the description below if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Blueberry pie. And as always, I shall see you in the next video. Cheers.